Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for coming. All right. Oh, they're ready to sleep in Jewel Mountain Temple. Very good. Okay, let's plunge into it. And let's look into what is rebirth. Bring your karma to rebirth.
What does it mean to go to rebirth with your karma?
灭业叫大业往生呢，就看你造的灭业罪，你造的灭业可的罪业，厚重可的罪业。你如果要你念佛呢，就可以呀，把你个的业。
Whatever offenses you created, if you recite the Buddha's name, then no matter how heavy your offenses are,
业障呢，就带到极乐世界去。
you can take your karmic obstructions with you to the land of ultimate bliss.
可是这个大业呀，你在没信佛之前，你知道啊，灭业罪，灭业。
However, you can only take karma created before you became a Buddhist, because at that time you didn't know, therefore it is not offenses.
还罪，那么你知道，你造的罪业可以带着去。
Thus, the offense karma created, you can take them with you.
如果你知道了，你还造罪业，那我们带着。
Once you understand what offenses are, if you still commit them, then you cannot take them with you.
因为你明知道很好的业，你也去做，各的故意犯各的罪业，你带着去。
If you know that it's an offense, but you purposely go ahead and do it, you will not be able to take that karma with you.
所以我们念佛的人呢，就要随时消旧业。
This is why people who practice reciting Buddha's name should always try to eradicate their old karma.
随时把旧的业消掉，更莫造新殃。你不要再造新的罪业。
And avoid creating new offenses. You should not create new offenses.
大家念佛。
Okay, what do you think? You agree, disagree? It's a clue. Do you agree or disagree with what the Chinese just said, and what Master Shewan just said? You can bring your karmas to the Pure Land. Okay, let me save some time for you because you have no clues. I totally disagree. Okay, let me explain to you why. Let's go back to what he said. This may make sense to the Chinese, but it doesn't make sense to me. I have a problem with this. All this, it doesn't compute, if you will. Okay. So he says, I basically disagree with everything he says. Did you see that? Okay. I'm taking chances here, okay? So I may not be able to finish what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so enjoy while you still can. Because some offenses are so heavy, like Devadatta, the earth might split open and swallow me. So if it happens, has been real, I appreciate your coming. And I see you downstairs. It's not that bad, Chung-Yin. You look like just, what's his boy? Along. Okay, so what does it mean to bring your karma, bring your karma with rebirth? Okay, this is referred to the fact that the Chinese teach themselves that when you go for rebirth, you bring your karma, your past karmic retributions to the Pure Land. That's what it means, okay? And I totally disagree with the way they teach it or with the concept. This is nonsense to me, okay? Maybe the Asians buy into this. I don't buy into this. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Whatever offenses you created, he says, you recite Buddha's name, no matter what, how heavy your offenses are. You can take your karmic instructions with you to go to land ultimate bliss. Fine. Okay. This is okay. Okay. You don't even need to mention it. It's like, why bother even bringing this up? My problem is that the reason you recite the Buddha's name or practice Pure Land Dharma door is to go to the Pure Land. Why do you care whether you bring all your karmas with you or not? Okay? I'm worried about the Pure Land. Okay, first, if I go to Pure Land, that's the main thing. Next thing is I want to go to a good place where I have nice cars and yachts and so forth. Okay, but that's a personal thing. No concubine in Pure Land, as far as I remember. Okay. So, but he says, no matter how many offenses, this is true, but it's not necessary to bring it up. You can take the karmic obstruction with you to land ultimate bliss. Yes, we take everything. We're desperate too. However, you can only take karmas created, well, never mind the Chinese English here, but you get the drift. The karma is created before you became a Buddhist because at the time you didn't know, therefore it's not offenses. This is nonsense. When you create offenses whether you're Buddhist or non-Buddhist, it's still offenses. Okay? I don't know why he said these things, but I think this is wrong. Okay. Safe to proceed. This is wrong because what's an offense? An offense is like you kill someone. That's an offense. Whether you're Buddhist or not, the law recognizes it's an offense. We, the non-Buddhists, recognize as offense. The Buddhists recognize an offense. So what's the big deal? It's still an offense. Okay? Whether you take the precepts or not, it's still an offense. If you took the 5 precepts, then it's a double offense. Is that clear? Well, let me explain to you double offense. Double offense is that because you take the 5 precepts, you took the 5 precepts, therefore you violate the 5 precepts. That's the offense number 1. Violation of precepts okay, substance that you took. You made a vow, say, I will not violate this rule of morality. And you went ahead and violated it. Therefore, it's an offense against the precepts. Yes? Furthermore, whether you took precepts or not, whether you Buddhist or not, okay, when you do something evil, something bad, you're creating an offense, what is called offense against your nature, against your good nature. Fundamentally, your nature is good. And when you do something against it, you're violating yourself, your own rules, your own standards. Okay? It doesn't matter who you are. When you do something bad, you're creating an offense against yourself. Yes, one.
Can I ask 2 questions? The first one
I is who?
Me.
Oh, me. Of course.
What's the retribution for eating before the sun is up? And what's the retribution for giving someone alcohol?
Well, you eat before the sun is up. As a nun, you violate the not eating at the proper time. 非时时, improper time eating. Okay, and because of that, you will go to the hells for at least 91 great kalpas, 91,000 great kalpas for every single bite. So, see you much later, much later. All right? As far as the second offense, which is what?
The retribution of selling alcohol or giving someone alcohol.
For you, when you give someone alcohol, you are not violating the Bodhisattva precepts because they haven't given you, all of you, any of you, the Bodhisattva precepts yet. Maybe in the future we should, but we've been lax. And when you after you take the Bodhisattva precepts, when you give alcohol to others, you will, it's a pretty serious offense. It's very serious in the Bodhisattva precepts. So, not clear what kind of retribution, because I haven't investigated Bodhisattva precepts that well. So, but it's a serious, it's a Qing offense, but it's still pretty serious. Is it Qing or heavy? Anyway, it's a pretty serious. It's a not insignificant offense in a Bodhisattva world. Okay, why? Because you are making someone stupid. Okay, what we do, everything we do is about helping people develop wisdom. However, when you give them alcohol, then you are doing exactly the opposite. So it's pretty heavy duty for the Bodhisattva path. So you should avoid giving out alcohol. In particular, if you, after you take the Bodhisattva precepts, and I still remember this, you hand some alcohol to someone who takes it, you will have no hands for 500 lifetimes. So you hand it with your right arm, you have no right arm for 100 lifetimes. And then left arm, okay, and then you have no left arm. You hand it like the Koreans do, you have no arms at all. So, all right, so those are the retributions. All right, so he says, so my point here on 296 is that it doesn't matter if you take precepts or not, you are still creating offenses. Especially when you take precepts, then you are creating double offenses. All right? So what Master YongHua says is not in accord with the Vinaya. Number 2, 297. Those offense karma you created, you can take them with you. So he says, if you take after whatever offenses you created before you became Buddhist and took precepts, you can take them with you to the Pure Land. That's partially true. This is the thing. If you go to the Pure Land, you bring all your karmas to the Pure Land, whether it's before or after. Okay, so this is misleading. Yes, 9.
근데 방금 말씀하신 대로라면 불교를 알고 빨리 만날수록 손해인 것 같다는 생각이 듭니다. 그러니까 말씀하신 대로 불교를 알고 그러니까 그 전에 지은 거는 다 뭐 문제가 안 된다라고 하셨으면 그냥 마음대로 살다가 마지막에 죽기 전에 그냥 정토 믿고 가면 되는 거 아닌가요? 약간 손해라는 생각이 듭니다.
Sorry, Master. Master, I believe that maybe it's not an advantage meeting Buddhism so early because it said any offense before meeting with the Buddhism and it will be okay. But after the Buddhism, whatever that offense you created, that counts. So why don't we just meet with Pure Land Dharma right before we die? Isn't that the better way to do it?
I agree. This is what he's encouraging people to do, to turn away from Buddhism. For people like you. Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what just happened? I just broke my beads. That's a very bad sign. Look at that. I must be wrong. You are a mean person. You don't ruin my beads. You ruin my body, but you don't ruin my beads. Now I'm going to have to look for them. It's okay. I just asked my disciples for another set of beads. I don't care. Okay, so it's misleading. So the concept here is misleading. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's the case where you should be talking like this. The Chinese is amazing, and the Chinese didn't object to that. I would dare say that if he was alive, I would even object to him personally, because this is not right. That's not what I learned. It's not what I discovered. It's not true. We've been doing this for 15 years now, so this is not true. Okay? So, yes, absolutely. And with this kind of concept, then why bother taking precepts? Okay? And then why bother becoming Buddhist? So that's misleading. Yes, 8.
Master, for the 5 precepts, we are, as a lay people, we are able to pick and choose which precept to be able to take. For the Bodhisattva precept, will we be able to pick the precepts too?
The Bodhisattva precepts you cannot choose. You have to take them all. Okay? By the way, before I decided to wear this tonight, I had a thought it's going to break already. So it may not be from him, because we were from him. It's pretty unimpressive. Q&A.
Emitofuo Master. I think the Venerable Master say that the offense you created before become Buddhism is not an offense or not a real offense. I think because maybe those hippie was new to Buddhism and doesn't understand much Buddhism, and also maybe the translation is not good back then. So it's like you teach a baby. It's okay what you have done, but from now on you don't run, otherwise you're gonna fall, something like that. So he simplified it because the audience back then. That's what I understand.
You can't have a cake and eat it too. Either you're right and you're wrong. Okay? Even you teach hippies and the newcomers, you have to teach them the proper Vinaya. You cannot say, this Vinaya is only for you, because it happens to people like me who listen to it and say, I have a problem with this. Okay? That causes problems for the future.
Yes, Master, yeah.
Yeah, there's more underneath. Send the kids and see if they get electrocuted or something. Okay, so no, I disagree with you. I'm publicly opposing this. I disagree with this publicly because I feel it's the wrong teaching. It's incorrect. Okay, it has nothing to do with rebirth. There's no point in bringing your karma to rebirth with you. If you explain it this way, then it's not helpful. It's misleading. I happen to disagree totally. It's the wrong way to teach Pure Land. Well, it's not my fault. He told me to teach Pure Land, so I'm going to teach Pure Land the way I see it. Okay? Anyone else? No, you're wrong. You can't have it both ways. As far as Vinaya is concerned, either you're wrong or you're right. There's no thing in between. There's exceptions for this audience and not the other audience. You should teach the same thing with everyone, to everyone. Okay? So the offense created, you can take them with you, of course, until the offense is resolved. It sticks with you wherever you are. Whether you're Pure Land, whether you're Buddha or Bodhisattva, it's still there. Is that clear? That's why every month we do repentances. Doesn't matter who you are, we need to repent. All right? Yes, 9.
저는 한글로 해석되어 있는 거를 바탕으로 해서 저같이 정토에 대해서 관심이 없거나 잘 모르는 사람은 저런 오해를 할 수 있다라는 거를 말씀을 드린 거고, 이렇게 막 살다가 말년에 정토를 믿고 그냥 무임승차하겠다, 그런 뜻은 아닙니다.
Master, I read something in Korean, so it was just my opinion. People like me who's not really interested in Pure Land Dharma, or when they read, and then they might think that way, but basically, I'm not saying that I'm going to wait until the last moment and I'll just join the group. That's not what I meant.
그리고 제가 오늘 2개의 질문이 있는데 연주가 끊어지니까 질문하면 안 될까요?
And also I have 2 questions today. Because that the beat's broken, maybe it's not a good time for me to ask.
해도 되면 하고 하지 말라고 하면 안 하겠습니다.
It is up to you, Master.
Ask one. Okay, we compromise.
그러면 하나만 여쭤보겠습니다. 아라한에 대한 질문인데요. 제가 아는 정보로 아라한부터 응당이 공양받아 마땅한 사람이고, 악을 멀리 떠났고 더 이상 배울 것이 없고 수행에서 더 이상 추락하지 않는다. 그리고 비로소 생사의 주도권을 가진 자라고 아라한에 대해서 알고 있는데, 이제 지금부터 질문입니다. 아라한이 이번 생에 태어나서 아라한을 증득했는데 다음 생에 다시 어떻게 아라한의 주도권으로 태어나게 되면 처음부터 한 살부터 아라한인 걸로 태어나는 건지, 그러니까 예전 법문에서는 마스터께서 새로 태어나게 되면 제로 베이스에서 시작한다, 삼매의 레벨이 이렇게 말씀을 하셔가지고 아라한이 죽으면 아라한으로부터 시작을 하는지 아니면 다시 0부터 수행을 해서 다시 아라한이 되는 건지 그게 궁금합니다.
Master, I have a question about Arhat. What I know is about Arhat is they are a respectable person who can receive offering, and also they left evil mind. Also, there are no more things to learn, and no regression, and free from birth and death. So my question is, if the Arhat dies, the next life, does this Arhat starts from first year? Or like you said before in another Dharma talk that if we born again, everything will be starting from zero. And so my question is, if the Arhat dies, does he or she starts from zero base, or does he have to cultivate in order to be an Arhat?
Once you're born into a new body, into the world, you start from zero. You start over. But the difference is that for these beings, they are extremely blessed. They have a lot of blessings. That's why these blessings will take care of them and they will eventually reach the same level again. Okay. If their karmic obstruction do not stop them. Okay? It's not guaranteed. You create heavy offenses. Okay? You may come back and you may start over again. You may still have a lot of difficulties reaching the same level as before. If you don't create offenses, then it's a lot easier. All right? So regardless, wherever you go, the unresolved karmic retributions you have, you take it with them, whether it's Pure Land or back to this world or the next world, same thing. You take them with you. Okay, so if that's the case, there's no point in bringing up 带业往生, bringing your karma for rebirth. It's a given. Okay, next. He says, once you understand what offenses are, you still commit them, you can't take them with you. Not true. And I cite proofs. Okay. And this causes problems, because I remember when I first started teaching Pure Land, very quickly someone came and told me that his disciples, his Heng disciples, in the same town, in Southern California, who has been also teaching Pure Land, because you guys want to learn Pure Land, who he also teaches Pure Land. He says, if you violate the 5 precepts, then you cannot go for rebirth. It is from a Pure Land scripture. That's correct. It is part of the teachings, the Pure Land teachings. That's correct. Okay, and so this monk regurgitating from that particular teaching. Okay, and I said back then I said, well, I'm too small time of a monk to bother with this because it's incorrect. But no one's going to believe me anyway. Okay, so I didn't say anything. But the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter. You violate the 5 precepts. I know some people, many people who violated the 5 precepts, and they went to the Pure Land. I know that. I know these people. So therefore, what the monk said is based on a book. Sounds familiar? Huh? People read books and they say, this is what the Buddhist teaching is. It's not always true, because even in sutras, Buddha's, when he taught the Agama teachings for the sound hearers, he taught them up to a certain point only, and that will be negated or dismissed or disregarded later on. Like when you go to a perfect teaching, then the Agama teaching doesn't matter at all. How's that? Okay, when you study the Avatamsaka Sutra, you understand that thing here, which you will see that the Agama teaching is for beginners. Those people who stick by those things, by the Hinayana rules, the Hinayana realm, are what I call Hinayana Mahayana. They don't understand at all, because they read from books. They don't. The Buddhist teaching, as I said a few nights ago, is lived. You have to see it yourself. You're not supposed to read from books alone. You read from books, and then you say, as you cultivate and you progress through these stages, and say, this is an exception. Okay, and that is later certified by the Agama, the Avatamsaka teaching. All right. So anyway, because these people don't understand, that's why they stick to incomplete teachings, non-perfect teachings, if you will. All right. So if you still know it's an offense and you still commit them, okay, never mind about offenses. Can we talk? Can we be real? Okay, let's not talk about offenses. It's too abstract for me. Anyone ever itches at all? Have any, have rashes, psoriasis or itches? Yes? Anyone? I only have one person here. Anyone ever had itching in their lives? Huh? Skin itches like crazy. Yes? Anyone? I can't hear you. Okay. Most of you have pretty severe itching before. Yes? Like a mosquito bite. Yes? You go camping. Anyone for camping? Ever had any mosquito bites? Huh? And it's swelling, and you're not supposed to scratch it. Does it stop you from scratching it? Hell no. It feels so good scratching it. Forget about offenses. Just talk about this simple thing here called itches and rashes. You can't even stop yourself from scratching it. Yes? Because it feels so good. We can't control ourselves. It's called karmic retributions. You understand that? You can reason all you want, but there are things that we cannot help ourselves, and we create offenses. Never mind about scratching. Offenses sometimes are created because it's part of our retribution. We do stupid things because we're supposed to. Does it feel better now? Huh? About scratching? Not committing offenses. We Buddhists, right? We don't commit offenses. But at least, can we scratch? Hell yes. Feels good. That's called karmic retribution, because you're hurting yourself voluntarily. Huh? It's called retribution for a reason. Oh no, the Catholics are so distressed over this. Yes, Kath.
I have just a curious question. Where I mentioned the building at, there's a lot of roaches. If someone does pest control, because I'm the one that put in the orders, happily putting the orders, is it possible that according to Buddhism, to me for receive retribution or something like that?
Repeat that.
If by ordering for them to kill roaches and other insects, bedbugs or whatever, is it possible for me to receive any retributions according to Buddhism?
When you order someone to kill on your behalf?
Well, not on my behalf, but you just made the order.
You tell someone to kill, yes?
Yeah, but insects.
Insects.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So is there any retribution?
Uh-huh.
Well, not for you, only for the Buddhists. Now, that means you can go to the Pure Land, you see, according to this. We all know it, right? He has better chance than us to go to the Pure Land because he doesn't know any better. See? Safe by the Chinese. In general, yes, number one, in general, if someone commits an offense on your urging, you are responsible, as well as that person. You both are responsible. Not only are you both responsible for, let's say, killing a cockroach, you're responsible for that retribution. You also are responsible for getting that person in trouble as well. So you must pay for the killing offense as well as pay for the offense of endangering that person. Okay, and therefore in the future, it's a double whammy for you, where the other person who is innocent only needs to pay for the retribution for the killing offense. It's not debatable, I'm sorry. You don't have to agree with this. Okay? Yeah. Yes, one.
From Jason K. In the Shurangama Sutra from the DRBA, it says the first stage arhat walks 1 inch above the ground so they don't touch the ground. What does this really mean?
It means what it says. That's all it says. It says that if the not only the first stage arhat, but many people higher levels, they can do that. They can walk above the ground because out of compassion. But it's not always the case. I read that part too, and I was after I read it, I was looking at everyone. So it's a case where actually it's not very helpful to have that knowledge, because you draw attention to yourself. Why would you want to draw the attention to yourself? Okay. All right. Now, so you 299. If you know that it's an offense, but you purposely is indeed missing there, go ahead and do it. You will not be able to take that karma with you. Wrong. Okay? Because I just give you an exception right there. You are born here in order to commit that offense, because that's your retribution or your settlement with the injured party, if you will. Okay? It's a debt settlement. So you're supposed to hurt him. It's supposed to hurt her. I know, don't get excited, okay? I'm not condoning this. I'm just telling you a theory behind it, okay? It just doesn't mean I approve of it or I agree with it. It's just that sometimes this happens because it's called debt settlement. All right? Like you hear plenty of cases in Buddhism where, like Master Hsien himself said, there's a monk who's born, Indian monk was born to China. This is in the record of the high-level Sanghas, translated into English. You might want to read it. It's kind of interesting too. And he's a prince in India, and he's born, and then he grew up, and then he traveled to China, and he's walking on the road, and a young man came around, and the first look at him, he wants to kill him. Okay, it's called karmic retribution. Okay, and there's so many instances like that. So that's why it's called debt settlements. It's supposed to happen. All right, and that will not stop you. So it's too many exceptions to this rule here. That's why I happen to disagree with it. 300. Why? This is why people who practice the sign of Buddha's name should always try to eradicate the old karma. I disagree with this again. Why? Because to me, as a Western educated person, this has nothing to do with my Pure Land Dharma practice. My Pure Land Dharma practice, as far as I'm concerned, number one, I want to go to the Pure Land. Number two, I want to go to a good place in the Pure Land, not just the Pure Land. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Pure Land is big, it's huge. Like America, it's big. So the places where you don't want to be. Yes? So I feel the same way about the Pure Land. The places where I would not. You can't pay me to go there. That's bragging a little bit. Okay? So to me, I want to go to a good place. That's important to me. This is why I'm doing this. So, interference. And so it has nothing to do with eradicating your old karmas. Eradicating your old karmas does not directly contribute to my two goals. Okay? I'm ruthless. I'm mercenary. I want to go there. Okay? So anything that's not important, that's not in the way of that, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Whatever karma you created, your old karma is there. So what's the big deal? The objective is how to try to get there and eradicate the obstructions will prevent you from getting there, to me personally. Okay? All right? Again, whatever the Vietnamese, the Chinese, and the Cambodians and Taiwanese want to do with their Pure Land practices, that's fine. My objective is different. Okay, I don't buy this. I don't buy that I need to eradicate the old karmas. Disagree. Okay, 301. Avoid creating new offenses. Yes, you should avoid creating new offenses, but not because it affects your rebirth. Okay, Rebirth is about creating your rebirth wealth. From my perspective, I want to live in a good place here in California. Okay, it's very expensive. Okay, the kind of places where they're very expensive, and that's why you require a lot of money. You need a lot of money to go there. Okay, even you go to their small town in those fancy areas. Okay, it's so expensive. Try Beverly Hills. The shop in Beverly Hills down here are so expensive. Okay, I never been to any of them. Okay, so the point is that you accrue blessings so you can afford to go there and live there, because that's part of your standard of living. You drive certain kind of cars, you pay a lot of money in real estate taxes, and every single thing you pay there, gas, bread, is so expensive. But that's part of the cost of living there. Okay, so that's why you require a lot of money. Same thing in a present bliss feeling. Similarly, you want to go to these good places, you need to have a lot of blessings. Okay, so create blessings to go there, and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. Yes? And then the other thing about rebirth that the Asians don't talk about, okay, is just like everything else in life, you want to do something important that matters to you, you will have obstructions. So part of Pure Land Dharma door has to be with learning how to resolve these obstructions. So develop skills or knowledge to resolve obstructions of your rebirth. But offenses? So what? You see, I don't feel it's relevant to the objective, rebirth objective. Yes, number 2.
Yes, Master. The investigation of precepts is a valid Dharma door, I've read, and I think you've discussed it many times. So I have a question. This is a scenario I either thought up or I read somewhere. It sounds like a logical Chinese story. But what happens in the case of 2 monks who drink too much apple cider? It happens to be hard, which means it's now alcoholic. And if you've ever drank apple cider, you can't really tell the difference. It tastes the same if it's hard or not. And they get too drunk, and then the next day, one monk, let's say, is dead, and the other one, of course, has no recollection. So has negative karma been generated, or is it affected by that term you were just discussing about, something about the valid process going on, or something like that you were just talking about?
The question is not clear to me. Your question is not clear.
Okay, well, if you get drunk and you don't know you're drunk because you didn't know you were drinking alcohol, and then it gets worse, someone dies and you can't recall what happened. So I'm asking, is that a form of negative karma, or is...
For who?
Well, in this case, it would be one monk is dead and one monk wakes up with an awful hangover.
Whose karmas are we talking about? The dead monk, the monk with hangover, or you?
Well, we're talking about the monks.
Okay. Which one?
That neither can recall what happened.
Okay. The one who's dead already, who cares?
Right. The poor monk wakes up, he goes, my God,
we say sayonara. Good luck, man. So you're warning about the surviving monk?
Yes.
We whip him to death. What do you want me to say? Listen, buddy, it's none of my business. I can't care less, seriously. If it happens to you, I'd be worried. It happens to a monk I don't even know. I don't even know his name. Who do you think I am? My life is stressful enough already. I just lost some beads. Sometimes when you cultivate, don't get distracted. Okay? Sometimes knowing too much is not helpful. Okay? That's why I'm teach you to be more focused. Focus on two things. Rebirth, good grade. That's all you should be focused about. The rest doesn't matter. You create offenses. I create a lot of it. And I go for rebirth and get what I want. I bring him with me. That's what he says. It's true. If you go for rebirth, you go somewhere else, you take on the next body, wherever it is, you bring whatever karma you created. It continues, it goes on. It doesn't disappear. Okay? That concept is important. Whatever offenses you create has to be resolved, one way or the other. So if it's not resolved, you bring it with you to your next stop. That's all. So I fail to understand why even bothering bringing it up. It's not like you have a choice. You say, I'm going to Pure Land. Amitabha Buddha. How is it true I only carry 50 pounds worth of offenses with me to the Pure Land? Otherwise, after that's $50, like Korean Air charges me. Come on, it's not like that. Okay, it's unlimited. The Buddha says you can carry unlimited offenses with you to the Pure Land with me. You don't even have to pick and choose. Take them all. The Chinese are too much. They're impossible to me. Yes, 8. Good thing I only have one pair of beads, okay? If the second pair would be broken by now, I would take it all back.
Master, I have a question about the high grade. So with the high grade, you will be in a better neighborhood. You'll be richer in some way in Pure Land. But I remember you
drive nice cars, man. The kind of cars that are available here.
Yes, but you also said that in Pure Land, in one lifetime, you become a Buddha. So regardless of what you do, you're going to end up as a Buddha. So what is the whole point of being high or not? It's almost like you desire for something.
That's true, isn't it? I'm so greedy. We can go ahead and say it out loud. Why are you so greedy?
I'm just not clear on why would we do those things.
Don't be so Asian. Just say it. Why? Just pick it up the phone. Repeat after me. I can take it too. If I give it to Master Shenhua, I can take it too. Yeah, go ahead. Why are you so greedy?
So greedy.
None of your business. It's my life. I don't need to justify myself to you. Go ahead. 3. Fell right into it.
어제 법문하신 것 중에서 2가지 질문이랑 불칠 기간에 대한 질문이 한 가지가 있는데요. 그 어제 정토에서 사랑하는 사람들이나 가족들을 구하기 위해서 그 사람들이 어디에 있건 알아보고 도와주러 돌아오는 경우가 많다고 하셨는데 어떤 방식으로 도와주는지가 일단 궁금하고요. 위험한 일에서 구제를 해준다거나 아니면 수행하는 데 도움을 준다거나 어떤 방식으로 도와주는지가 궁금하고, 그리고 그렇게 다시 돌아온 사람들은 자기 그런 소명에 대해서 인지를 하고 오는 건지 아니면 그냥 아미타 부처님의 가이드에 의해서 움직이는 건지가 궁금하고요. 그리고 불칠에 대한 질문은 그 불칠을 하면서 좀 앉는 게 힘들어서 만약에 번뇌가 생긴다면 그거를 해결하는 방법을 찾아야 하는지 아니면 그 스케줄을 따르는 것만으로도 복을 쌓을 수 있는지가 궁금합니다.
Master, yesterday you had a Dharma talk, and I have a question about that, and also there's two other questions. Number one, you mentioned about yesterday about the people from the Pure Land. They will be coming to this world to save loved one and their families. You mentioned about Amitabha actually determines whether they need to return and help them. So I'm curious, how do they help them? Do they help for their cultivations or the method of helping? That's what I'm curious about. Number two, people from Pure Land, people who came, the Pure Land people coming to this world to save their loved one and family. Do they know they're coming here for that? Do they know they're from Pure Land? Or they just simply follow Emitofuo's guide? Number three, while we're sitting and doing the meditation, affliction arise. Should we try to resolve that affliction or just follow the schedule? Would that be sufficient?
Okay. The reason I said that some people came back here from a Pure Land is because I'm aware of such people. I give you one example. Master YongHua is one such example. Okay, he came back here because he's from the Pure Land. And not just him, but many people as well came back from the Pure Land. I'm not going to tell you the names, okay? None of your business. They do what they're supposed to do. So how do they save them? It varies. Some of them just said, I want to, someone says, if once someone would come back and help them go to the heavens of 33 to be near the gods, okay? Because that's what they wish to do. That's what they promised them to do. And then after that, okay, then eventually they will go to the Pure Land themselves, okay? So it varies from each cases, from cases to cases. So it's no fixed rule there. The point here is that before you leave, the promises you made to the people here, you still have a chance to carry them out once you get to the Pure Land with Amitabha Buddha's help. That's my message to you. So be smart, okay? If you say that, I want to take care of you, I want to take care of you, my grandchild, I want to take care of you, my beloved, I want to take care of you, my best friend, okay? Instead of being cavaliering about it and say, I'm going to come back and make sure I fulfill my promise, I'm offering you a much better choice. Go to the Pure Land and ask for Amitabha Buddha's help to fulfill your promises. And a lot of people are doing that. It's a much better way to help, okay? Because until you have wisdom, sometimes your help is actually harming someone, okay? Case in point, a lot of people do a lot of silly things to their children out of love for them. You hear that kind of story everywhere in all cultures, okay? It's so sad, you know, that out of mother's love for her child, and she ruins his life. He ruins her life. She kills him. In some cases as well. Okay, so don't be so sure yourself. In order to help people, you need to have real wisdom first. Without wisdom, don't even try to help. Get someone else who has wisdom to help them on your behalf. I'm glad you asked that question. It's very important. Okay? The people say, I believe in. I believe. And that's what I do. But you have no wisdom. Your belief means diddly squat. You can't really do much with your belief. Okay? Because you have no wisdom. You have no power to help anyone. Okay? So stop it. The real help is to get someone who has wisdom to help you help them. Okay? That's very Buddhist. The Buddhists, in particular, Buddhists, pay attention, please. Don't think you learn a little of Buddhism and say, I understand, I want to help my mother, I help my father, I need to be filial and so forth. How can you help? Because you have no wisdom yet. You don't know how to help. Helping means whatever you do is good for them. But if you don't have wisdom, how can you be sure it's good for them? Be more humble. Know your limitations. If you want to help, get someone else who has wisdom to help right now until you have wisdom. Until someone tells you, okay, now you can help. Now you have wisdom. Is that clear? Okay? So that's what you have to pay attention to. And what's the third question again? Huh?
The second question was the people came back from the Pure Land. Do they know they're from the Pure Land, or they just follow Amitofuo's?
Does it matter? The objective is to help. Whether they know or not is not important to their assignment. Okay? So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Which are the ones who do know? People like Master YongHua who has wisdom, they know. People who don't have wisdom don't need to know. They're supposed to do what they're supposed to do, and then, that's it. Okay? Is that it? Anything else I left out? Did I answer all your questions?
Third question. There's a third question.
There's a third question. Oh, yes.
So while doing the sitting meditation, affliction arise. Do I need to resolve that affliction or just to follow the schedule? Would that be enough?
When you practice, when you're here in particular, when you're at home, it's totally different. When you're here, okay, and you here for the Fo Chi or Chan Chi or whatever, you commit your time to come here and practice. And affliction arise. Okay, let's say during the Fo Chi here. What are you supposed to do? Should you fix it or you should follow the schedule? Okay, it's a fair question, and think about it. Whatever affliction arises, okay, there's only one ultimate result that matters. Okay, whether you greedy for high rebirth grade. Why me? Okay, or you are annoyed by someone who has not taken a bath for a while. Okay, all those. Okay, all those. The end result of all those. The only thing that matters is that would that stop you from your following the schedule. Okay, so The answer is as long you follow the schedule, then you basically are resolving those obstructions. Right? So that's why this is what's beautiful about the instructions in Mahayana. And I'm glad you asked the question, because just follow the schedule. It's a rule of thumb. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you do. Just follow the schedule. It doesn't matter what your neighbors do. It doesn't matter if you had any sleep the night before. It doesn't matter. Just follow the schedule. Don't break it for any reason. That's all. All right? And you resolved, why aren't you able to follow the schedule? That's a real obstruction. Okay? Until then, doesn't matter. If someone snores or someone walks funny, doesn't matter. If you follow the schedule, okay? They walk, you walk. They sit, you sit. They recite, you recite. Just bring yourself, for example, when we're reciting a little bit later on, when we do the rate transference, when we are chanting, chant. Don't just sit and chant. The schedule says chant, so chant. Make some sounds. Don't say, I'm so tired, I can't chant. Okay? Chant until you pass out. Yes, 8. Are you justifying yourself?
No, Master. I just wanted to say that yesterday I watched a movie that is called Samsara, and they said, what is more important, satisfying 1,000 desires or conquering just one? So that third question really brought me to that phrase, because if in our meditation we keep on kind of checking all the afflictions, there's always going to be one after the other and after the other. So for me, that question was so important, because it's always better to just follow the schedule, just conquer that one.
Okay, very good. 1,000 what? I missed the punchline. Is it better to follow 1,000 what?
No, what is more important, satisfying 1,000 desires or conquering just one?
Or just continue with one, or fulfill just one?
Or conquering just one?
Conquering just one. I go for 1,000. You're not greedy enough. It's no challenge in doing one. Get real. Yes, Catholic.
I don't think if you want to go to higher levels, I don't think that's greediness though, because if you want to help other people, why would that be considered greediness?
I'm controlling myself, as you can tell. My disciples, I can lash out at them, but you're not my disciple. It doesn't look good on TV. Well, I guess I'm more Catholic than Buddhist. Huh? We agree on that. Yes, Billy.
Master, thank you for everything. Talking about greedy, this year I would love to have a little bit greedy in me, because I missed a lot of Chanchi and Fochis. I couldn't sit back then, but now I do sit for an hour more too. So this Chanchi, I'm greedy to have a chance to sit more than 2 hours. So how can I do that more than 2 hours?
How long did it take you before you got the 1 hour?
It depends on the day.
No. You've been coming to the temple for how long? Before you reached 1 hour.
I'm so embarrassed, maybe 6 years.
6 years?
I see my daughter grow up.
Then you know what the answer is. Patience. Huh? Give it another 6 years and see what happens. Ask and thou shalt get.
But by then I can't be a monk.
Who says we want you as a monk? Wait a minute. You're making the assumptions that are not totally unreasonable. Yes, 9.
저 도저히 막 본문에 집중이 안 돼가지고 막
Oh, you're crying again. Oh my God, I hate it. That disrupts my lecture. Well, you realize I just made you laugh at her crying? You know, you are so cruel. You have no compassion whatsoever. I just proved that. People blame me for having no compassion. No, you are the one without compassion. Look at the Catholics are laughing. They have no compassion. We understand that. Yes, go ahead. Cry.
제가 염주가 끊어져가지고.
Did you know that they don't admit criers? Guess what? To the Pure Land? Because if Emitofuo brings the lotus days and she says, "Oh, I'm so happy! Oh, I can't believe it! I'm so happy!" And you open her eyes and Buddha's gone. I'm warning you.
유튜브 마스터께서 염주
Oh, she dries up her tears so quickly.
염주가 끊어져가지고 질문 하나만 하라고 하셨는데 염주가 끊어져가지고 질문을 안 드릴 수가 없었고요. 유튜브로 다시 듣기를 해보니까 당신 같은 사람들이 불교에서 등을 돌리게 된다. 딱 그 말씀을 하시면서 염주가 끊어졌는데 제가 지금 상황에서 더 이상 법문에 집중이 안 되고 집에 가야 되나 생각이 들어서 제가 뭘 해야 되는지 질문드립니다.
I'm sorry, Master. I can't really concentrate it on Dharma talk today because the beads were actually broken. I think it's somehow related to what I said. You said the moment when what you said the moment when the beads were broken. That's when the Buddhism will be against you. Buddhism will be turned itself against you. At that moment, the bead is broken.
I'm not talking to you.
마스터께서 뭐라고 하셨냐면 이건 되게 안 좋은 사인이다. 당신 정말 나쁜 사람이다. 이렇게 말씀하셔가지고 어떻게 해야 될지 모르겠어요.
Take the microphone from her. Don't have to remind me. Are you on my side? You call yourself my concubine and you stabbing me in the back in front of everyone. Oh, God, this woman will never learn. Okay, let me address this greeting thing here. It's a fair question, but remember the quota? This is for the rest of the year for you. Why am I greedy? I'm greedy because the Buddha taught me it's okay to be greedy in this case. He says rebirth is not only simply going there. When you go for rebirth, okay, the Asians are so desperate, they just want to go to get rebirth. I'm not desperate. I'm not as desperate as they are. And my disciples are not as desperate as they are. Okay? So I teach them, that the Buddha says when you attain rebirth of the Pure Land, there are different classes or grades of rebirth where you can be born. This is what the teaching here says. When you go to the Pure Land, you can be, there are 9 different grades of rebirth, actually more than 9, okay? 81 or more. I mean, my math is getting bad. Sangwook, how many grades of rebirth are there? Oh, never mind about her. Don't wait for her, okay? Sangwook here, every time you ask her a math question or numbers question, she says, I don't know. And she has a PhD in statistics. So anyway, the Buddha says when you go to rebirth, there are 9 grades. My Shishiyama explained actually 81 grades of rebirth. Okay, actually more than that. He asked me. He said more. If you want to dissect them more minutely, but that's not. It doesn't matter. Not to us. We don't need to know to that level, minute details. That's nonsense. Okay. So in general, the Buddha says there are rebirth grades, and therefore I said, then I combined the 2 teachings. First of all, you need to do something about rebirth, and then he said, when you get there, actually you go to these different places. Some are more desirable than others. So that's why I said, in that case there, that's what he said. The places where they're more desirable than others. Okay? And I've seen people go into more desirable places and very bad places. Okay? So that's why I said, in that case here, if that happened to that person, why not me? Okay? You could call it greed, but it's greed in accord with the Pure Land teaching. So, yes, it's greed, but it's not greed. So, that's called the what? The Pure Land begins with an M. Middle way. You understand? You greedy, but you're not greedy because you're simply doing what you're told, you're taught. If you don't shoot for the good grades, then you're stupid. It's worse than greed. Okay? Yes, 1.
3 questions. From Isaac, he's bowing. Are you fully realized?
I think so. I would like to think so. Next question.
From Alex, how does one recite the Buddha's name with no thought and no self?
Help! Number 3.
From Christopher L. Didn't the sutra say that lower grade rebirth to the Pure Land takes longer for the lotus to blossom, and so it will take longer to attain Buddhahood, and only monks and nuns can attain high grade rebirth?
Yes and no, it's too complicated to dissect it. I'm not interested in giving you the detailed roadmap. Okay, you want a roadmap, go into the long Amitabha Sutra that discusses the rebirth grades and so forth. I'm really not interested in dissecting it to that level. Okay, I'm really stupid. If you give me more than 3, I get confused. Okay, so yes, there are certain qualifications and so forth. It suffices to me personally keeping, because I like to keep things simple, real simple and straightforward, so that I can remember and not get lost in the details, is that I want to go for a high grade than today. That's my attitude. Today, if I could go today, next month, I'd like to go a higher grade, hopefully. That's all. Okay? It doesn't matter. So for me, personally, it's about trying my best with the goal of going, improving. All right? All right. Anyone else? Did we answer all the questions? Okay. We passed the allotted hour. Shall we continue? Or yes, too. Do you have a question?
Thank you, Master. I heard Alex's question. I think it's a good one, and I just wanted to share my experience.
Yes.
Alex, you always ask very exact and precise questions that I don't know how to answer, but my experience chanting the Buddha's name is when I first started meditating and started coming to Blue Mountain Temple 7 years ago, whenever I would cross my legs, it was very difficult, and I have an injury that I didn't know that I had, and it was tremendous pain just to sit a little bit half lotus for maybe 6 minutes. And what I would do was every time I would cross my legs, I would chant over and over again out loud, Namo Azida Fat, Namo Azida Fat, Namo Azida Fat, until I didn't know that I was doing it. And that was my experience.
Did it work? Did it work?
Yeah, it worked. I sat like 7 minutes the next time. Which was like a 27% increase. So I was pretty proud of that.
Hallelujah. What can I say? To me, if I were Amitabha Buddha, what did you say?
Oh yeah, I speak American, so it sounds different.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think, if you're trying to say the Buddha's name right, the best way to say it is just say it as best you can.
Okay. Who am I to judge you? But it's not just for the prior question, why you're greedy, okay? Let me point out to you that, let's say you're not greedy, okay? You say, I don't care. I don't care if I go for high grade or low grade, because I'm not greedy. I'm a true Chan person. I have no greed. Huh? What's in the grade? Eventually I get there anyway. So what's the hurry? You're right. Okay. What about your mother? Would she agree with you? See, that's what I meant by the middle way. You may not be greedy, but it may be better for someone else other than you. So this Pure Land Dharma door is very, very flexible, very middle way. You don't want to be greedy? Fine, don't be greedy. But there are other people who want to be greedy. It's perfectly okay. Yes, too.
Master, I don't think that's being greedy. I think all you're doing is demonstrating what we're trying to do, and that's to cross the river in the boat so we can leave it on the other side.
It's true. It's true that what you said is true as well. But theoretically speaking, it's greed. It's called greed. And the Chinese would call it, Master Xinhua and the Chinese Buddhists would like to call it as good greed. Okay? Because it's a kind of greed that is beneficial for you versus the greed that most people have that are detrimental for them. There's a difference, okay, between the different types of greeds, okay? But practically speaking, okay, we are living in a world of greed. You cannot deny that we have a certain greed in our hearts, okay? And therefore, it is okay starting out to be greedy because we have no wisdom yet. You cannot say, now I'm being from a greedy person who wants this, who wants that, okay? Did you know there's, never mind, I was thinking of book pros. Never mind. We live in a world of greed. To say that we're not greedy, anyone who says we're not greedy, I have serious doubts about these people. Even Master Xinhua, who says, I'm not greedy, I say, I don't believe you. Okay? He still has greed. But not the same kind of greed as we do. So, at different levels, you still have greed. Let's face it. You're not a Buddha yet, so you still have greed. Like it or not. Okay? You cannot say I have zero greed. That's not possible. Okay, 8.
Master, when Shakyamuni Buddha spoke the Dharma, did they have monks back then, or did that style come from China with the shaved head with the monks in China, or did it come from India?
Came from India, stopped in India first. And then the Indian patriarch by the name of Bodhidharma is very famous because of that. He brought that from India, Mahayana from India to China. What did he bring? He brought the Chan Dharma. Okay? Chan, so therefore he set the standard. In order for Mahayana to exist, you must transmit the Chan knowledge to someone, to the next generation. That's what he did. Okay? And as such, the Chinese transmitted that knowledge, Chan knowledge, through generations of patriarchs until Master Xinhua, who then brought that knowledge to the U.S. and transmitted that knowledge to my generation. All right? Anyone else? Okay, I think we don't have enough time to go into the next topic on 302. All right, might as well stop here and do our great transference. All right, thank you all.